Okay, so I'm pretty sure that right now you guys heard the news about Miley Cyrus. Wanted to chime in and throw my 2 cents in. Now, she's disassociating herself from hip hop, which we really know hip hop is connected to black people as a whole. So, when she says that she wants to disassociate herself from hip hop, she's kind of saying that she wants to disassociate herself from blacks. Now, as far back as maybe 4 years ago, which is really recent, she was doing this whole thing. I believe it was like 2011, 2012. She was wilding out. I mean, she was wearing costumes that were sexually suggestive, and she was wilding out. All right, she had a black boyfriend. I believe it was white. Mike Will made it. Um, I mean, she's wilding. It's not hard to see with the stuff she was doing. Um, it was like Little Kim type stuff, all right, but a little bit further than what Little Kim was doing. And now she's like, "Hey, I'm cool. I'm cool. I'm cool on it because I'm trying to clean up my image." They had her in pictures walking through fields. She was just basking in her whiteness, right? So I'm gonna play devil's advocate for a quick second, and I made this video because this video is really about this whole debate between cultural appropriation. All right, so I'm gonna play devil's advocate. I'm gonna do what Whoopi said, right? Because Whoopi Goldberg on The View had made a statement about blacks appropriating white culture. So I'm gonna use that same kind of logic, and I'm gonna say that I'm gonna play like I'm a white person. I'm gonna say, hey, why are you guys crying about white people um, allegedly appropriating your culture when you guys steal from us every day? I mean, you guys have the look at Nicki Minaj. She has a blonde wig and blue eyes, and she calls herself the Black Barbie doll, and she wants to be a white person. So um, why can't a white person want to say the N word, or why can't a white person want to do kind of what the blacks are doing? Uh, and you can even take it a step further. You have a lot of women who are dark skinned who go through colorism within the race. Now, colorism is not exclusive to the black community. It is very heavy in the Latino community. I'm not a person that's Latino. We have a lot of Afro Latinos who are from the Dominican Republic and Haiti, and you have a lot of people who are from different parts of the hemisphere that all arrived from West Africa, right? When slavery was booming. You go and do the little test. Everybody's kind of that's black has a little drop of some part of the continent of Africa. You've been robbed, robbed, sold, or stolen, whatever. So we can go into a whole debate about colorism in Latin America, but it's too long. But it's not a thing that's just exclusive with blacks. It's just magnified because a lot of blacks, we're on social media a lot. We're Twitter's biggest users. Blacks are on Twitter more than any other racial group. So with that being said, there's a lot of stuff going on right now where black women are bleaching their skin. You even had Charlemagne. This was a guy who was a very dark skinned chocolate brother who had these dark spots, dark marks on his face, and he bleached his skin to appear lighter. And he kind of went through a phase where his skin was looking real weird, but I guess it's all balanced out now, and he's just as he's damn near as light as DJ Envy and old girl that I forget her name, but there's a lot of self hate allegedly, and it is. in the black community. So one could argue that. Okay. My rebuttal to that is, imagine, let's just, since we're gonna do this this whole argument, right? Imagine that you are a man and you like to cross dress. Now I know you're gonna say, "Oh no, come on, man. You know, man. You can't compare race to gender, man. Because race is a social construct. Well, so is currency. So is money. Money is a social construct. If I don't believe that $1, if I go to the store and I give a guy $5 and he says, I'm not really going by $5. Where I'm going back to the old school where you would barter. You kind of or what do you have, or what kind of services can you exchange for me? See, because that was the original currency system. So $1 doesn't mean nothing if us as a people don't respect or don't treat the dollar like it's worth whatever the amount is on it. So currency is a social construct. The thing that makes it real is that everybody believes in it. So unfortunately, race is power. It's power. It's very powerful. It's the difference between you getting a job or you not getting a job. It's the difference between you meeting certain people, having access to certain friends who know people who know people. And just living in a better neighborhood, just having access to people who have more careers, not just truck drivers and county workers. I'm talking about, accountants, lawyers, construction workers. You have more connections to people. Just being non-black, you just have more access. Not even just wealth, because not every white person is born with wealth. In fact, you can argue that's a lot of poor white people. And hence the reason that you have a Donald Trump being elected as president. So let's just go with the fact that you're a man. All right, this is my damn scenario. Okay, you don't like it? Oh well. But you're a man and you like to cross dress. But when you cross dress, you expect to be treated like a woman. Right? You expect to be treated like a woman because you cross dress. And you're hanging out with other trans women, and you're hanging around women, and you're saying that you're a woman and you expect to be treated like a woman and all this stuff. And for some reason, you get hit by the Holy Ghost. You get hit by the Holy Ghost. And I mean, trust me, I'm not a religious person, but I'm just using this as an example because I'm trying to give you some context before I get into this game. But you get hit by the Holy Ghost and you have an epiphany, right? And this epiphany causes you to say, you know what? I no longer feel like I am transgender or a cross-dresser, right? Now, cross-dresser, transgender, that's two different things. That is two different things, okay? But just go along with it. So now you completely disassociate yourself from the lesbian, gay, and the transgender community. Or you disassociate yourself from the cross-dressers who want to have that woman privilege. And you go straight into being a man, or quote unquote, traditional masculinity. And, you marry a woman. You have, I believe Antoine Dobson had did something like that. You marry a woman, you have a kid, you rebuke all homosexuality and cross-dressing. and you reap all the benefits of a man, right? And you totally just throw the transgender people to the side and just take back all that male privilege that you had. So that's kind of the same thing. It's a costume. It's a fad, right? I mean, Rachel Dolezal, she could just wipe that tan makeup off, and she can just, you get what I mean, and live her life as a white woman at any moment or any second. So it's this whole jumping on hip hop, riding a wave, and hey, once I get my image, I'm going, I'm good. This has been a consistent pattern of using blacks to elevate and get to a higher level where you kind of disassociate. It's kind of like a stepping stone before reaching a higher peak. So this stuff has been happening since the beginning of man. You know, when there is a book called Stolen Legacy. Stolen Legacy is this book that you can go purchase. Just go Google Stolen Legacy book. And this book here breaks down the history way before the transatlantic slave trade. This book breaks everything down, and it tells you about the universities that was in the continent of Africa, where a lot of Romans and Greeks, they came over to Timbuktu to learn the different philosophies, mathematics, science, everything, the calendar. We're talking about irrigation. Africa was one of the first places to ever have a system where the whole plumbing system, everything, right? What happens? The army, they invaded, they stole all the information from Africa, and next thing you know, wow, happenstance, all of these great philosophers pop up. First you have Homer, then you have Plato. Well, I'm pretty sure Homer had people before him, but one of the people that taught Plato everything he knew was a man by the name of Homer, right? And then Homer handed it down to Plato, who has one of the greatest books ever called The Republic. Then from The Republic, from Plato, you have Aristotle, who allegedly took what Plato said and shot it out the park. You could go get the DVD Hidden Colors. It tells you about how there is a story of in ancient Kemet that the basis that the Bible was based off of. You know, when you get into reading the hieroglyphics, and there was a British scholar on, I forgot which Hidden Colors that was, that broke down how there was a Kemetic story of this one. I can't break it down to you guys, too damn long. I don't want this video to be too long, but hey man, you get what I mean? There's stuff in history that shows that we are great people. I mean, we are a great race. We are a people that has achieved a lot. But the thing is, once you control the narrative, once you control the media, this is why media ownership is important. Once you control the media, you control the narrative of the articles that get put out, of everything. So our history has been stolen from us. The whole Cleopatra, when they found the Cleopatra, this was a fake Cleopatra. This was a Cleopatra that was basically painted white, and it was fake. And I mean, our entire history has been stolen from us, right? And we've celebrated all of these Greek philosophers, but where did where did they learn all of this stuff from? Right? So now that's conjecture, but you can go read the book Stolen Legacy for yourself. You could go purchase Hidden Colors at hiddencolorsfilm.com. And hey, more power to you. It's all about knowledge. But man, I'm so long-winded, but y'all gotta feel me. I know y'all like, damn, this brother's kicking some game. But that's how far back we can go as far as non-blacks taking what Africans have created and kind of using it as a stepping stone to prop themselves up. Now we fast forward, we're in the year 2017, and we got her doing this whole thing where she's trying to clean up her image. First of all, we had Marky Mark, right? The guy you love to do those damn comedy movies and action movies. And Mark Wahlberg was not a suspected white supremacist. He was a full-blown white supremacist before he made it big, okay? Because he had even said, there's articles that you can dig up that show that has public statements of Mark Wahlberg admitting that he used to assault black kids and call them the N-word out in Boston, Massachusetts. Because he's a Boston guy, and they used to beat up on black people and do horrible things. And Mark Wahlberg didn't hide from it. He said it, right? He got into the game wearing cross-color hats, overalls. You guys can do the Google search and image and see this stuff. When he first got, he was like this hip hop hunk. He had the shredded abs, and he was like a white guy that was like, yeah, I'm down with the cause, I'm down with the homies and all that. And as time progressed, got him a couple movie roles, shedded that whole hip hop crap, and disassociated himself from hip hop, right? And so that's Marky Mark Wahlberg doing this whole Miley Cyrus syndrome, using hip hop to get you to a certain point. Once you get a couple movie roles, vamonos, I'm out of here. Okay. Another one. Here's another one. Justin Timberlake. Justin Timberlake was a guy, bleach blonde hair. Bye. Was that was that the Backstreet or whatever? No, not NSYNC. He was with NSYNC. Right? He was with NSYNC. Bleach blonde hair. Bright leather, shiny jackets, and goofy ass white boy. He was fresh off of the Disney lot, and he was with NSYNC. And as he got older, he was like trying to break free from that Disney little image. So what did the first thing he do? Hooked up with Pharrell. Start acting like Michael Jackson. Right? That album Justified, he sounded almost, he sounded so identical to Michael Jackson. He bit so much off Michael Jackson, even he had to admit, the whole glove, the whole dance and all that stuff, that I kind of ripped that off from Michael Jackson. Right? Super Bowl comes up and the whole wardrobe malfunction, right? What happened? Okay. Once the wardrobe malfunction happened, it was a lot of smoke. But who caught most of the brunt of that criticism? It was Janet Jackson. Janet Jackson was like, damn. I didn't think it was that bad. I just, didn't. I didn't think I did anything more shocking than what Madonna did, right? She got blackballed from the industry. They wanted nobody. Nobody wouldn't touch her with a a 20-foot pole, they wouldn't touch her because they were like, no. She stopped getting invited to Grammy Awards. All the whole time, Justin Timberlake's kind of just not really speaking up for Janet Jackson. Kind of like, well, kind of, yeah, kind of it is what it is. But the whole time he's going to these award shows, and he said, let me hook up with Timberland. So he hooked his white ass up with Timberland, and he brought sexy back, right? He started doing that grown and sexy, dressing like he in the Matrix, and he's on that grown and sexy stuff, and switched his whole swag up. Wait, hey, what happened? You see, what happened? And he started making songs with Nelly Furtado, and it was like, oh no, let me clean my image. And he got a couple movie roles, and he just completely just disassociated himself from hip hop. He went from having tracks with Nelly and all that. He's like, yeah, I'm cool. Right? So it's a consistent pattern that you see. Christina Aguilera, this was another one. That whole Disney Channel thing. Right? Trying to break that Disney Channel mode. She was doing that whole basically whoring herself out to the black hip hop community. She was doing that same thing I Gotta Get Dirty. That little track with Redman. She was doing the same stuff that Miley Cyrus was doing. But it was a lot less. I wouldn't say she was as raunchy as Miley Cyrus. It was a lot less. But she was still out there. Right? Just she had cornrows in the whole nine, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, she had cornrows. She was completely appropriating black culture. And she rode that wave a little bit, right? And was doing songs with Lady Marmalade. And I mean, remember, just like look at history. It's a consistent pattern that this always happens. And guess what happened? She got married. She had a kid. You know what? I'm cool. Start doing music. That didn't really do too well. I was doing all right. Went to The View. I mean, not The View. Went to the what's that show with Adam Levine with CeeLo Green, and that's how she kind of created another career where she was doing something else, completely disassociated herself from hip hop. Just a show. Hey, I'm a singer. See, so it's a consistent pattern. Pink was another one. Pink was one when she first came on. She was all over BET. She was all over on the black. A lot of people adopted her. Like, oh yeah, Pink. It was got a good song, like R&B, hip hop kind of single. She had a little fame, success with that. She said, I'm cool. She started doing that punk rock stuff. She completely disassociated herself from hip hop and rap and all that. Kid Rock is a guy back in the early 90s was doing tours with Too Short and Ice Cube and was struggling. He was a struggling artist trying to be down with the brothers. You even got pictures of him with Vanilla Ice flat tops, right? And he was allegedly down with the brothers. And he did that punk rock stuff, that little hip hop rock country stuff, and it took off. And he said, I'm going full blown redneck. Full blown redneck. And now he didn't work himself up to being in Oval Office with Donald Trump himself. So I mean, this is a consistent pattern. This is a consistent pattern that people use hip hop or people use black people to get to a certain point, and they're like, I'm done, I'm cool. I mean, what the hell do I need? What the hell do I need to be dealing with black people for? So, I mean, this is why you just gotta. I mean, you gotta be careful about the ones that get adopted by black culture. Right? You had this. We can break this down into down. We can break this down with the Donald Sterling situation, where he was a known racist. I mean, it wasn't even hidden, and NAACP was about to give him an award. Why? Because he had money, right? And you had Hulk Hogan, who many people, hey brother, you know, he always called people brother, and I loved Hulk Hogan as a kid, but you know, he was just keeping it real in his house, speaking how he felt. It got leaked out, shouldn't have got leaked out. Had that lawsuit against Gawker, but it lets you know, hey man, some of these people that you consider that yourself is that's so cool, you just never know what kind of stuff they saying behind your back, and what kind of stuff how they talking about you. Yeah, they talk about you like you a clown. That Yes Jules, right? Yes Jules was one of these hip hop and hip hop reality shows, whatever. And she just put out some shirt talking about, oh, ends ain't nothing, or N words ain't nothing, and she ain't even black. You got teachers now talking about, oh yeah, the word's been commoditized. You know, the N word's been commoditized. Like, in other words, anybody can just say it now. It's cool, and it's like, yeah, we living in a world, man, where, you know, we don't want to believe the truth, because the lies are easier to digest. And I just wanted to make this deep, and I wanted to make this shit long. And I'm gonna leave it at that. But beware the ones that you associate and you keep it real with, and that you adopt into the culture. Just keep that in mind. All right, and I'm out. Like, comment, subscribe, and I'm out. Peace.